All right. So today we are going to talk about something that I've been posting about with the posts. And I thought today I'd dig a little more into why do women not speak up when we are violated. And this isn't necessarily just women. I think there are some men who also experience this, who have done this and also feel violated. Hi, Luxar. Good morning. Good morning, Miriam. Good morning, MC. So what is it? Why do women not speak up or try to say anything or defend themselves? And I can speak from my own experience and from the experience of people that I've talked to. And I think and it falls under a number of different categories of why maybe we don't say anything, right? One is that we've been taught to just, there's one word that's a really weird one, and it is this politeness, right? We have been taught that to be polite is the greater good. And that's actually bullshit, right? It's like a tyranny of politeness that, to be a good woman or a good person even nowadays, it's all about being polite. Okay? Now there's nothing wrong with politeness, but politeness is not a primary moral good. Okay? If somebody is assaulting you or violating you and you don't stand up for yourself against an actual violation because you feel like you have to be polite about it, then that has taken it much too far. You see? That is what goes on. So when women don't understand their primary right, thank you, Luxar. When women don't understand their primary right is the right of ownership in their body. And that right means that you get to exclude everyone else from touching your body in any way that you don't give full and free permission. Have you seen Lucifer? Hey, PU. I do like that show, actually. Yes. So the question is, why do women not speak up when they're being violated? Okay. One, women were treated as property themselves, the property of somebody else for generations. So because of this, they don't see themselves or their own body as valuable. They don't have this inner sense that I have a right to my body. Whereas a lot of men grow up with that sense. They're like, touch me, I'm gonna punch you back, right? Don't grab me, don't touch me, right? And women are taught, oh, well, if a guy grabs you or gropes you, just kind of, remind me of that doctor, thanks. If a guy grabs you or gropes you, just kind of just kind of ignore it, or oh, well, it's just a guy, kind of thing, as if they have the right, you see? That is the issue in the difference in the way men and women are trained. So, this is a big issue in our enculturation and training, right? One of the issues is politeness. Another issue is fear, okay? Fear of retribution. Right now, we have an environment where it's becoming more acceptable for women to speak up, where women are being listened to. But in the past, and I mean not even very long ago, and still in a lot of countries, this is not the case, right? Where if a woman speaks up or says something, she can receive retaliation. When I was in law school, my good friend, and this was in 2007, okay? This was not long ago. My good friend was sexually harassed at a law firm she was interning at. And she went through the proper channels. She reported it to HR. They weren't going to do anything about it. She filed an official complaint. And you know what happened? She could not get a job. When she graduated, no law firm would hire her because she had filed an official sexual harassment complaint while she was an intern. Right? So, yeah, she's saying men are dominant here. Where are you, Luxar? What country are you in? But I mean, it is everywhere. But in some countries and cultures, it's even way more dominant, right? So and just like here in America, right? When people think, oh, well, it's not that bad. But in fact, this has been going on. And a lot of people, men especially, good men, are just not aware of it. You see? What I find the challenge is when good men are not aware that it's happening, and it gives the bad men just the ability to keep abusing it. Yeah, that's what I thought, Luxar. Yeah, she says, women always sacrifice her dreams and her own life. Yes, that's what you're taught to do. You're taught that that's your role as a woman. And you know what this stems from? This stems from the concept that you don't have a pure right of ownership in your own body. This is false. A woman, we are all equally humans. Every human has their consciousness, their being has a property right, a full property right in their own body. What does that mean? It means I get to decide what the hell I want to do with it anytime, anywhere, as long as I'm not violating somebody else's property rights. You see? So I, as a woman, own myself just as much. And the messages that we get in society when we're little and that we're trained in are what? The messages are exactly what you said, Luxar, that our role or our position is to help somebody else, right? That we exist to serve someone else. We exist to serve our husband. We exist to serve our children. We exist to serve the community. We exist to serve our families, right? That is the message that women are taught. And the message that men are taught are something different. Men are taught, go out there and get your dreams. Go make a success of yourself, right? You see? Totally different messages. One message, a man is taught, go out there, make a success of yourself, get your dreams. That is implying you own yourself. You get to decide. You get to create a life you want. The message to women is the opposite. When you're saying that my purpose is to serve somebody else, you are saying I effectively do not own myself. I do not have the right of ownership in my own body and in my own life. This is exactly the issue that's happening. Thank you. Luxar says, everybody needs to see your videos and learn from them. Yes. Well, let's get this out there. Let's get this out to as many people as possible, right? When you understand the fundamental right that we have, all the rest of the fuzziness that your cultures have been trying to sort of impose on you gets cleared up, right? Because it's an authority culture. It's this authority culture, and this exists everywhere, where it's the top down telling you what you get to do, who you get to be, and what you're allowed, like as if they're your parent, but all the time, you see? So what else goes through a woman's head when she is violated? One is, well, you know, this is just normal. One is fear, right? If you were spanked as a child, if you were abused as a child, if you, or even for women who've actually been, you know, abused or beaten as adults, right? This is a very real thing. It's not just some vague, maybe it'll happen. No, it's a real thing because it actually happened to you, right? And then at the same time, you'll have women who just see it happen to other people, right? So you'll see the retaliation. Like I saw my friend be retaliated against for speaking up against sexual harassment and was unable to get a job at a law firm after that. None of the other, like the word got out, right? So we're afraid of that kind of retaliation, see? And that's a very real thing. It's not like, oh, well, you know, she's just being hysterical or making it up, right? The other thing we think, because we're taught this, is we're taught, well, it's your fault, right? You did something wrong. And that's why that person grabbed your ass, or that's why they tried to fondle you or grab your boobs or whatever, right? That's the other thing we're told. You did something wrong. You dressed too sexy, so you deserved it. You went to that party or you had a drink, so you deserve to get molested or raped or whatever it is, right? Total bullshit. Total bullshit. Let me tell you that right now, okay? Let me ask you something. If I took my iPhone, right, and I put it on my table, I'm at a restaurant, okay, I have the iPhone on the table next to me, and somebody comes and steals it, is that theft? Or is it not theft because I left it out and it was an attractive looking iPhone, had a really cool, pretty case with sparkles on it, right? Right? Are you going to tell me that, no, I can absolutely go file a police report. If the person is caught, that is theft. That is 100% a violation. Why? Doesn't matter if my iPhone looked cute and sexy, right? It doesn't matter if I left it on the table where it was easy for someone to see it and to take it. You see? It's still theft. This is the fundamental issue, but we don't apply the same standard to women and to our bodies. When you see that clearly, if I have a property right in my body, it doesn't matter. Nobody is allowed to touch it without my express permission. Okay? That's the key. She says, I always saw here that money and rich family background matters to gain what we want. Yes, it's true. Because why? Because oftentimes people in power can get away with more, right? Oftentimes if people are empowered, they know how to use the system better. Other people defer to them, right? And they let them get away with more. That power disparity is huge. And in a lot of cultures, it's not just between the rich and the poor. There's also a big power disparity in how we see between men and women, right? So that 100%, that's a huge part of it. And all throughout history, the wealthy or the powerful have always had these rights, right? If you went and stole from a wealthy person, you're 100% going to get hanged, okay? Right? But it's, so they already knew that they have these primary rights. But they just would abuse them when they were dealing with people who they felt like were not the same social status, power status, and wealth status, right? They felt like you're in a lower caste, you're in a lower group, so you're really more like an animal. You don't really have those rights. You know, they used to say that about women. So this was a huge flaw in the American Constitution, right? And that was that the Founding Fathers understood a piece of this. They understood that that concept, like the king doesn't own me. That was the whole thing. They were like, the king doesn't own me. He can't just come and take my stuff and kill me, right? I own myself. But guess what? They only applied it to men, right? Thank you, Luxar. Yeah, they only applied it to white men. That was the only person they applied it to, right? Bullshit, right? Now we have science, we recognize that we are all equally human, no matter the color of our skin, no matter our gender, no matter our age, we are all humans, right? And we all have this same fundamental right, the right of ownership in our body. So there are things that you can say, well, maybe it's not a smart thing for me to do if I'm in a third world country and I pull out a big wad of cash on the street, okay? Yeah, it's not smart and it might get stolen, but it doesn't change the fact that the person who stole it violated me, that was a violation of a property right. And that is the issue that we don't deal with. We don't clearly see that when we're dealing with men and women, right? And especially with women and their bodies, where we put the blame on the woman, right? No. If you wanted to walk around down the street naked, it still would never give anybody the right to touch you without your permission. You understand? You own your body. You have a full property right in your body. Now, might it cause some other issues and problems? Yes, it might. Okay, it might not be the smartest thing to do, but it still doesn't give somebody the right to rape you or to violate you. You see? So when we really get clear on this, we will have a different kind of conviction and power inside of ourselves that nobody can take away from us, because we know 100% we are right. I know I am a human. I have a property right in my body. Nobody gets to touch it without my permission, and nobody gets to say what I am going to do with my life and how I get to live my life, okay? Now, in real life, the truth is women are oftentimes in abusive situations where maybe if they try to exert this right, they might get physically beaten, okay? Or locked up, right? Because the other people around them don't understand that they really do own themselves. So if you're in a situation like that, then be careful, be smart about it. But at least know in your heart, in your soul, that you are working towards that freedom because you already have it. You may not have it in the physical around you, but you already have it in your soul. Yes. Yeah, like I says, women need to be educated. 100%. We all need to be educated. Why? Because our entire society has been trying to educate us falsely this whole time. Why? To use us. Women are an amazing resource of basically free work for society, right? Of course they're going to use us like that if we're willing to be used, you see? So they have tried to indoctrinate us in a way of thinking which will allow us to be manipulated. But we don't have to allow that anymore. And that is what claiming that right of ownership in yourself and in your own body is all about. So that's what we're talking about today. I'm so glad you came on to talk and see. And let's spread this. Let's spread this to people. Let's get this out. Share these videos on YouTube and Facebook, and share this with other women, with men, because men need to understand it too. It's a distinction that can really help them as well in understanding how to deal with women. So you guys have a beautiful day. Thank you. Have a great day. All right. And remember, you own yourself. Each of us, we each have a full property right in our body. Don't let anybody else tell you differently.